Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams that no mortal ever dared to dream before. So hello everyone, I'll be your host today. It's the God of Mischief apparently, so the Loki shit was very intentional. And if you guys haven't noticed, we're kind of living in the zombie apocalypse, and you've all been kind of zombified to one degree or another, so it's rather unfortunate to say the least. Probably even me to some degree, I could probably raise the bar a little if I really pushed myself to my, utmost limits, to my, full capacity. But I'm not quite sure if the world can handle that right now, so I haven't been fully empowered by the Father and the Son yet, though. As I mentioned many times, my authority does grow greater and greater year by year, so, it's just, a matter of time. Eventually I'll be in my final form, so to speak, and that should be quite the spectacle, to say the least. So, yeah, unfortunately, I see dead people, so it's like in The Sixth Sense, and I'm sure Bruce Willis, in some degree, understands this much better than he did when he made the movie, unfortunately. But yeah, you've all kind of been dehumanized to one degree or another, as I just mentioned. It's to be expected, though, unfortunately, the way the society's set up is, a lot of conditioning and a lot of, subliminal messages and just a lot of, brainwashing, so it's, how Satan plays this game, apparently, so keep everyone kind of, in darkness and confused and disillusioned and just oblivious, more or less, so you guys are kind of like, you've been branded pretty thoroughly at this point, so cat all led to the slur, so to speak, so you guys are all kind of, following the, your so-called shepherds who are just ravenous wolves in sheep's clothing to the slaughterhouse, and it's not going to be a pretty sight for the society as a whole, and it's already been quite the conundrum for many people thus far. So everyone is dying in one way or another, or is already dead. So so that's it's not the most pleasant things to think about, but still is what it is. So yeah, I thought I would maybe try to save you guys sooner than later, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously there's a lot of things coming against me, there's a lot of backlash, a lot of just a lot of little demons, and a lot of even pretty big demons, but as I mentioned many times over, even compared to the Antichrist, the Holy Ghost is quite menacing, so I'm literally the boogeyman's boogeyman, so watch out, like, there's a reason why the darkness and even the devil himself trembles before me, and it's for a good reason. Though, as I mentioned before, luckily for you guys, I'm a good monster, so I haven't officially become Darth Vader yet, so that's good for you guys, I suppose. Though, eventually I will have to, stop being so merciful and so passive and kind of put my cosmic foot down and crush, these so-called, leaders and rulers and wannabe kings and everything in between, wannabe gods. So that should, be a slight test of my ability, of my authority, of my power. So yeah. But yeah, it's the hour's getting late. It's almost midnight. That minute hand is reaching around. It's gonna hit the 12 pretty soon, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I'd say it's not too much time left. Whether it's a few days or a few years. I guess it's more or less up to me in the end, and I can kind of, dilly-dally or kind of, push things in one way or another. So I don't know if I'm going to expedite or if I'm going to just kind of procrastinate here, but we'll see what kind of heavenly memos I get from the Father and the Son. So according to what they instruct me to do, and how the society kind of proceeds from this point forward, I'll base my decisions off that, more or less. And yeah, it's just it's quite the conundrum. Like, it's quite the fiasco. So we are literally in a circus, and there's a lot of clowns, and many of you are the clowns, and everyone, again, to one degree or another. Obviously, some much more so than others. So some of you guys are pretty decent, and I give you credit for that. So thanks for trying your best to be dignified, to the best of your ability, hopefully. Even like the White House, which is just a circus, which I suppose has always been a circus to some degree, but definitely much more of a circus at the moment than really any time in the past. So we got the White House, also known as the circus, as I just mentioned, led by Joe Biden, also known as Bozo the Clown over there. And, he's throwing a lot of shit in everyone's face, especially in my face, and we're probably not going to allow it for much longer. So these people are really incompetent. It's not just Biden. It's not just the Biden administration. It stems from stems from things of long ago, so ancient days. But it's just the nature of how things are set up. There's a lot of chaos, and a lot of lies, a lot of deceit, a lot of delusion, a lot of mayhem and bloodlust, and just I guess a lot of animosity. So friction all over the place, and it's just a matter of time until that friction creates a spark which lights the world on fire. So I'm trying to create a good spark, like the all-consuming fire that brings a fire, but the fire is like the fire of God, and it's the light of the world, and it's a fire that will consume everything one way or another. Hopefully in a good way. Hopefully I just kind of like I don't butter you guys to crisp. Hopefully I just kind of illuminate you guys. That'd be the better of the two scenarios, at least for the society. Though it'd probably be a little both. So I'll probably have to condemn a lot of people, a lot of nations, and then exalt some people, and then pick and choose, and put the sheep on one side, and the goats on the other, so to speak. So the great division, so the great harvest, the great tribulation, and all of that hocus pocus. So again, I didn't really have an intention for this video. I just want to kind of talk about these kind of gloomy days that we're living in, which I suppose we've always lived in, at least since the fall of man, back in the garden, as far as that story goes, as far as I know. So it's been a little while, but obviously as the sun sets and darkness falls, the sun will also rise, and with it will be a light greater than anything really anyone can perceive. So a light greater than the sun itself. So it'll be the light of the world. It'll be when heaven is the veil between heaven and earth is torn, and the dimensions kind of interlap, and fact and fiction kind of intertwine. So just a matter of time. So trying to buy you guys a little bit of time here, but it's it's very difficult to say the least. But as you might be able to tell, I'm actually doing better for the most part. So this is the best my complexion's been in God only knows how long. Like overall, this is probably the best my complexion's been in probably just about 20 years. So it's kind of a good thing in retrospect. So it was quite difficult to fall so fundamentally, and to be covered in blood for most of my life, from head to toe, and rip off nails, and be pumped up on medication, and thrown in psych wards, and abused and mocked, and forsaken, and and everything in between. And as I said before, I'm the 33-year-old virgin sacrifice officially. So it's kind of a bittersweet thing, and it comes with a lot of trials and tribulations and hardships, but also comes with a lot of blessings, and and glory, and this and that, and a lot of insight. So it's kind of like like Carl Jung said, something to the extent of, "It is said that no tree can reach heaven unless its roots extend to hell." So I guess in retrospect, it was kind of a good thing that I was thoroughly planted in hell, because now I have the depth to reach the heights of heaven. So so from the cross comes the crown, from suffering comes salvation. So it's a little bit of a paradox, apparently, but it's how this universe is set up, apparently. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a little checking, because if nothing else, I'm looking pretty good, and I'm pretty calm. Like, I'm getting close to that peace that suppresses all understanding. So I'm going in the right direction, I like to believe. And yeah, I don't probably shouldn't make this video too long, so I'll probably try to wrap it up in 2-3 minutes, hopefully. I just want to give you guys a heads up, because I know I don't make videos actually of myself anymore too often. So last time you saw a video of me, I was forsaking my disappointing mother. So I looked a little fucked up that day, and I was a little enraged, because she's like making police reports and shit about me, which she has no right in doing, because she's not anyone who should be judging really anyone. Like, she doesn't, like, it's not her place, considering how fundamentally of a sinner she is. But yeah, so things are okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm doing pretty well in retrospect. So, and again, darkness is not all bad. Every story needs a villain, so every hero needs to have his obstacles, adversaries. So even David needs Goliath, even though in the moment Goliath's kind of a pain in the ass, but in the long run, it's good to have that 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 thing to overcome, because imagine like some kind of story where it's like once upon a time there was a prince, and he was born with the silver spoon, and then he lived happily ever after. Like, that would be pretty boring, pretty mundane, to say the least. So you have to be kind of like on the hero's journey, and the hero's journey tends to entail that you're kind of up against the ropes, and the obstacles and the elements all against you, and you're in these unspeakable storms and everything of the sort. But then by the good grace of God and your own strength and conviction and and whatnot, you overcome. And it may not be a complete fairy tale, probably will be for me at least. I don't know about the society as a whole, but it usually seems to end off on a happy note. So things usually conclude better than when they began. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, I'm just kind of happy that I'm looking halfway decent for, like, I wouldn't want to say for once in my life, but I still need to lose some weight, and there's still a few little scars and nicks and this and that, and my teeth are obviously in pretty bad shape, to say the least. So I'm not 100% put together, but then again, who is? Most people again are corpses or dust at this point. So and the people who aren't aren't too far away for the most part. So just a vapor in the wind, apparently. So dust in the wind. So yeah, I just wanted to give a heads up. It looks like there's quite the storm coming very rapidly. So there's dark clouds on the horizon, and they'll be covering the skies pretty soon officially. So but it's kind of bittersweet kind of thing, or a double-edged sword. But I guess you could say it's like the perfect storm. So it's it's going to be quite rocky, quite you're going to have to really buckle your seatbelts and hold on to this crazy roller coaster. Even more so probably in the upcoming weeks and months and years and whatever. But if nothing else, it'll be quite the ride. And for those who stick through, you probably have some cool memories, hopefully. So I do feel terrible. Again, there's like a big sense of responsibility on me, and every day there's like numerous people dying in these terrible, horrendous ways. It really shouldn't even be happening at all. Or like it really shouldn't happen at all. But it definitely should not be happening to this degree at the very least. So I don't feel like I've failed or anything of that nature, but I do have this kind of, I guess you say, like a civic duty to try to make things as much better as I can, so to kind of fulfill the mind of the prophecy. So Jesus didn't die in vain. He died for the sake of sending the other Comforter, for sending the Holy Spirit. So I do intend to do my part to the utmost of my ability. Try to kind of repay the favor, more or less. And so I'm getting a little emotional here, so I'm just gonna shut up. So I guess we'll wrap it up. But obviously, guys, try to wake up as best as you can. Unfortunately, the society has been kind of like slamming its head against a a brick wall for pretty much the dawn of time. So so it's a wall that you guys in your own strength cannot overcome. That's why Jesus said, he said, not by might nor power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. So since the society has been trying to do this on its own pretty much forever, and literally killed Jesus, and they've gotten extremely close to killing me many times over, now everyone has amnesia, and they're all kind of, there's just like mass psychosis everywhere. It's just, no one can escape it, fully at least. Everyone has like a veil, and they're oblivious to one extent or another. So I thought I would try to wake you guys up as best as I can, and hopefully myself too, and hopefully the Father and the Son fully empower me, and I reach my final form, so to speak. So, yeah. So I'm just trying to rattle the cages and see who wakes up, and do what I can while I can, with what I can. So this video is about 17 minutes. So I guess the God of Mischief will be signing off now. So so just take a big breather, everyone. And maybe pray a little bit more fervently, and try to keep looking up, because for those who are true believers of Jesus Christ and the Holy Trinity, everyone's redemption should be drawing the eye. So unfortunately, the only way for me to, or for anyone, but I'm the only one who has the capability of doing it. The only way for me to bring Jesus Christ back from heaven is by myself sacrificing myself, seemingly. So I'm kind of curious what would happen if I had really passionate sex, but with like a true daughter of God. But let's not get into that right now. But that would definitely be something really fundamental and on a positive level, seemingly. But I think actually sacrificing myself, and maybe even as a virgin, might stir the waters slightly more so. Definitely more so. How much more so, I don't know. But meaning what I'm trying to, what I'm getting at this point is when I die, expect things to kind of unravel very thoroughly, very abruptly. So, as in like, kind of the strainer. So when the strainer is taken out of the midst, you guys can, officially say hello to the apocalypse and the rapture. And unfortunately for you guys, the rapture isn't how you guys believe it is. Even like the best Christian pastors have a very inept, very blurry conception of what the rapture is. So everyone thinks millions of Christians are just gonna fly up into the sky, and there's like a certain walk that you have to hit, and if you get to 65, you get up to heaven, but if you're 64.9, you stay in hell and you burn forever. So there's not like that weird kind of cutoff line. Though again, there are people who are anointed and set apart, and that's why in the end Jesus said, he says that that he's going to come back pretty much with haste for the sake of his elect. So if his elect were already raptured, then how and why would he come back for the sake of his elect if his elect are already in heaven and not on earth? So meaning the saints or whatnot will have to go through the tribulation, and that should be quite the quite the journey for them. Again, there's no like true saints, true saints, but there's some pretty good people. I'm pretty proud of a few people here and there. So, not everyone is as bad as they could be, so to speak, and some people are pretty amazing in their own right. Even though obviously everyone is bound by some kind of mortal limitations, and I seem to kind of like transcend that to some degree, even without being glorified at this point. So even without a glorified body. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's it, guys. Just I'm wishing everyone the best, obviously, even my enemies. So forgive 70 times 7, right? So that's about 490 times, and I've definitely forgiven way more than 490 times. But I guess I'll go above and beyond in terms of mercy until there's nothing left and there's no more mercy to be had, and God just completely forces my hand over the society, and God forced my hand, and it's time to rain down fire from heaven and all of that hocus pocus, all that mumbo jumbo. So yeah, so that's it. This video is almost my longest video. So I want it to be my longest video. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, I'll talk for a few more minutes. I'm just in a pretty good mood, and I figured, what the hell, alright? So speak while I still have the ability to before the Satan and the Illuminati and all this bullshit. Friggin' put like some kind of cosmic and probably material muzzle over my mouth, bastards. What is he speaking the truth? This is blasphemy against an unholy Satan. Like, how dare you? Do you know who I am? I require silence. Be still and know that I am the friggin' darkness incarnate. Again, even so, like as bad as Satan is, and I'm sure he's going to be the most horrendous of monsters and abominations and gremlins and ghouls imaginable. On like a fundamental level, my darkness does exceed his. The only difference is that, while God is, again, this contrary to popular belief where God is all good and light and holy, and then there's no, shadow or, and there's no darkness, and he's, the ultimate Boy Scout just running around, planting sunflowers and casting rainbows and riding on unicorns and stuff, despite popular belief akin to that. God actually has a lot of darkness. God is, he literally created the darkness. Luckily, the darkness is kind of like a canvas, and he places the stars on the canvas. So, the darkness is kind of like the backdrop, and the stars are shown through that darkness, so they're conveyed through the lack of light everywhere else. So that's why they, kind of like, they're set apart, so to speak. So, light set upon a hill, which cannot be snuffed out. Hopefully, so I guess we'll say, but I don't think so. Yeah, how does a mortal creature kill an immortal being? You can destroy my body, but that's not quite killing me. So that's destroying my vessel or my vehicle, my container, and which I am rather fond of at this point. Who I do intend to, engrave in the book of life as thoroughly as I can. But again, there's no way to fully destroy the creator. The only one who could probably destroy the creator is the creator himself, and hopefully it never comes to that. So yeah, so it's a 24-minute video at this point. I guess that's it, because these videos take a while to upload because my internet isn't especially good, and there's like a storm coming, and there's a storm here right now, so the perfect storm. So buckle up, guys. It's gonna get real soon. So all right, later. Peace. Bye. Yeah, later. Be safe.